Welcome back to another episode of Pod by the BAE. I'm Seth Varnadore, joined by Robert Steeg and Collin Sherwin. Pod by the BAE is, as always of late, brought to you by HomefieldApparel.com. Use our code BAE25 for 15% off your first order at HomefieldApparel.com. You can use our affiliate link in the description as well. If it is not your first order and you're a return customer, it helps us, helps you. But you can use our code BAE25 now. It was BAE15, now BAE25 for 15% off your first order at HomefieldApparel.com. Gentlemen, we're officially in the final countdown towards the season. We are out of the lineman portion for the most of the stampeding through the roster. We're into specialists now, fullbacks, linebackers. We'll get into running backs here pretty soon, and then into the quarterbacks, and that we'll be kind of making our way down. So we are kind of in the talking season portion of the final countdown here. So Collin and I will be making the trip to the American Conference Media Days tomorrow. Media Days will begin Thursday as the time of this recording. So Thursday, hopefully speak with a few coaches, speak with some people, hear the commissioner speak and everybody do their little spiel. Should be a lot of fun. Steeg, are you excited to watch press conferences?
Oh, yeah. I love nothing. Actually, ironically enough, I love the non-press conference portion of this. In years past, we've gotten a lot of really fun interviews out of it, a lot of really interesting tidbits, a lot of just good camaraderie occurs during these media days. But I can't wait. How long is it between each session? I think it's like 15 minutes between each presser. Like Pernetti's is like 35 minutes, and then everyone else's is like 20 minutes or something like that. Yeah, it's 20 minutes between coaches, which it's going to be 8 minutes of talking points,
Filibustering
and just pitter pattering. The only interesting ones to me are going to be probably Ryan Silverfields is going to be interesting, like very interesting. John Summerall is probably going to be interesting. I have a feeling Trent Dilfer is going to say something of note.
He tends to do that.
And then that's kind of it. I don't know, because these guys have all been talking since spring about X's and Y's and Z's and everything like that. They're just going to pretty much give up their prepared statement, probably get asked 3 or 4 questions about. They're going to ask Gold, should Byram healthy again for the 15th time this offseason. So we know that's coming.
Has anybody asked Trey Lamb what his stock 7 iron is?
Oh, that's
his yardage.
Trey Lamb's golf prodiginess is going to be probably a hot, not really a press conference topic, but just a general thing. Trey, can I get some pointers?
Over under on Soar mentions.
If I can't say that.
I take the over, no matter what it is. I'm going over. Okay, not from the coaches, not from anybody else, but the questions that I will be asking about this. Look, buddy, show you this. We're going to meet at the airport tomorrow, and I don't want to meet you. See this? See this little pin?
You ready?
Okay, I got this pin directly from the American Conference Media Days 2017 or 18.
You think they'll give Soar pins this year?
100% think so. By the way, if you're listening on a podcast and you're not watching on video, this is a P6 American Conference pin put together by our former commissioner, who thought it would be a great idea to brand this as the league and then have the hashtag for the league, not Joe, for the media days and for the league was hashtag American POW6R, American POW Sixer.
POW Sixer.
And yet somehow this league, which has moved offices moved the media day to 2 other locations, has changed everything, has somehow found something even dumber than this. 8 years later, I am mortified, horrified. You know what's gonna happen to Soar to Eagle when if any out of conference game they get plastered, or like, I don't know, that somebody gets snipped by a MAC team. The graphic of Soar the Eagle crashing into the side of a stadium is absolutely coming. So why would you put yourself through this for absolutely no reason? It's so stupid. By the way, I am wearing this pin all week. This pin will not come off my body at every single event. I will be wearing it 100% of the time. Sorry, Seth. Everybody likes you. I tend to start trouble at these things. It's good. We're good cop, bad cop. This is just how this is going to work. I'm sorry, buddy. I love you, but like, you're going to have to deal with this shit.
No, that'd be great.
There weren't enough words. I took as much time and energy and everything to digest it. Like, I really did. I read the presser. I read the comp. And every time I looked at it, my body had a visceral reaction.
I was really hoping we can make some. Unfortunately, the turnaround's so fast. I was really hoping we can make some terrible Soar merch and just hand it out at the.
Y'all better get a picture with the Soar
with
mascot
Soar
while they're there. Yeah.
I hope so.
I know Stephen Colbert's been in the news a lot lately, but the entrance to for his old show, the Colbert Report, there was it was all American and him just waving American flags and going crazy and all that stuff. But the end was this eagle screech right before they cut away. It was the last thing that you would hear was this like screeching bald eagle. Okay. And for the American Conference, I want every podcast, every time somebody does something in this league, everything, I need that screeching bald eagles drop over and over and over again. Just what this is just the dumbest thing ever, and I can't wait to.
What if they have a live eagle at media days to take pictures with?
Conference championship game, have instead of the War Eagle, instead have them do a lap around the stadium. Like, oh my god,
no, just have some low budget, 18-year-old college student in the Soar the Eagle mascot.
Like Jackson DeVille come in on the zip line with the football in its talons.
Yeah, it's so good.
People are. This is not assuaging any fears people have about the American possibly not making the big time here if there's a split in college football.
I said this so sincerely. I legitimately thought that that announcement that they were taking down to was going to be like something private equity related. And I was correct to an extent, because nothing says private equity quite like a rebrand and a dumb mascot. But
I'm excited about the mascot. I gotta be honest.
Yeah, I'm close to heel turning on it too. Like, I hate it, but I'm close to hating it so much that I like it. That I have to lean into it.
So
I'm never getting there. I'm never getting there. This is so stupid. This is everything
into the absurdity.
Everything that we hate about corporate America. This is a McKinsey move. Okay. This is everything that we hate. We need to rebrand. No, you actually don't need to rebrand. You've been around for 12 years. You're finally starting to get a little brand identity. People are starting to know that your conference is probably, in most seasons, the best league that doesn't have an automatic bid. Now, especially with the Pac-12 coming back, and they're going to be competitive, very quickly here. I think they're going to be, about it, like for like par level conference with the American. This is the time you don't change your brand. This is the time to lean into who you are. So let's just scrap everything now.
I don't mind. I didn't mind the name because I've never called it, when discussing it, I've never called it the American Athletic Conference because it's just like, yeah, we know it's an athletic conference. So I just call it I've always called it the American when talking about it, when writing about it. I don't know if that's breaking convention, but I've always, So the mascot with the corporate speak like why, and then the rise and all that. All right. Here's my question to you guys. Maybe more important than Soar, possibly. What is kind of the big storyline going into Media Day? Is it Memphis being like the villain in a romantic comedy that tries to buy their way into someone's heart and gets rebuffed?
Look, man, Memphis going to Memphis. They have done this over and over and over again. They are a university that just does not know how to navigate the political waters of higher education and academia. And that's probably because, they are a glorified 13th grade academically. So this is, I'm not, and here's the thing, I'm not mad at Memphis. I'm not mad at anybody for trying to get out of this league. That is what you're supposed to do. We are all in the same thing. They thought they had a path. They took a shot. They missed. But how many times is this school going to take a shot and miss? Like, this is so repeat. They very much remind me of Central Florida sending packages to the SEC ADs, like full packages about why UCF should be in the SEC. And that happened, by the way. Like, I documented that. Like, that actually did happen. And so that's kind of just what Memphis does. They just have this thing. But like, look, UCF, you basically, manifested their way into a better league. But Memphis has tried repeatedly and has failed repeatedly. So,
you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Precisely.
And Wayne Gretzky, Michael Scott, Memphis.
And I think the storyline from this conference media days, what is it? The American kickoff, is like, you can feel the lack of stability throughout not just the American, but all of these media days so far. Aside from like the Big Ten and the SEC, like, you can kind of feel the shaky ground beneath everyone's feet of like, something is about to happen. It's probably going to be bad, but we just kind of have to be prepared for that ground to start shaking, because there's this whole, 3 non-conference, 9-game, conference schedule thing going on right now with the SEC and the Big Ten. There's a lot of flame going around from like the ACC talking about how the SEC really is just a top-heavy conference at this point. They don't deserve all the praise they get. Like, you can feel the desperation, and I think the Memphis thing was just a very small microcosm of how everyone is feeling right now, and that does include the SEC and the Big Ten. Everyone is desperate for the biggest piece of the pie. Now, the Big Ten and the SEC have the preferences and the 4+4+2, whatever, BS realignment thing that they're looking for right now. But like everyone else, you're just kind of looking at like, okay, like something is going to give here. When is the pin going to fall? Because when that pin falls, the musicals chairs are going to stop, all the different, buzzwords and catchphrases and everything like that. They're all going to happen. Where am I going to be at that point? Because it doesn't seem like anyone outside of the Big Ten and SEC are safe. And even then, it doesn't seem like half of them are safe within their own conferences.
Well, it certainly seems
but that's
like
the way. But this is the way.
The year.
Yeah, but this is the way we've literally been doing this for 25 years. Mm-hmm. Like 2005, when the Big East expanded, and actually it was even a little before that, because it was the ACC. The ACC, like, this is just the sport,
right?
This. You know what I mean? This is, and I don't think there's not going to be a permanent wall, because then you get into antitrust, and the only reason there is an automatic bid for more conferences than power conferences is because of the antitrust factor. If you put up the wall, there will be, they'll put it in court forever. And I don't know if you've noticed, the NCAA in court doesn't do real well.
No, too odd.
So
they've already had something struck down with the new, or they've already come to an agreement with the new college sports commission or whatever. It was already on collectives.
Yeah, I saw that as I was heading up here tonight. I still haven't read it, but I did see that. Yeah, I mean, this is the way college sports is going to be for a while until we get some kind of federal legislation. This is just the nature of the beast, and I've just sort of accepted. Like, literally, one of my first job at USF was writing the part of a big chunk of the proposal to get in the Big East. That's 23 years ago. And like, have we found any sort of peace or sanity or balance or chi or anything like that since? No, at no point. You know, it's just the nature of what's going to happen. Unless you are a top 10, 15, maybe 20 school, welcome to what is going to be an unending cycle.
Welcome to your unending.
Even in 2030, even 2030, 2032, I think it's still going to be like that. So.
Yeah. No. Then I'll rephrase. Public desperation, I think, is okay. a more suited word for it. But yeah, it's again, I think you feel it more just because of social media and everything else that's going on around that as well. But yeah, it's always make or break. It's always, if you don't do it soon enough, if you can't win soon enough, if you can't do X, Y, or Z, and it's been like that for what, 12 years?
Yeah. So like, here's the thing about the stadium. This does link to the stadium, which is that I am very skeptical on spending $300 and some billion on a stadium to play UAB and Rice at home. Okay. I think that could be a financial white elephant being very kind way to put it. That could be really, 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 really bad. Okay. But I think in the long run, these things will play out. College football's not going anywhere. The sport is wonderful. It is beloved. It is the second most popular sport in America. That ain't changing. And so, like, even if we're going to be in a financial shithole, you know, in 2029, 2030, when the, you know, FIU Panthers are coming to town for homecoming, in the long run, you're giving yourself a path and a way to get out, and it may take a while or whatever. So like, yeah, I understand the skepticism on the stadium. It could be bad financially, but like, you don't have a path out without it. And here's the other thing. Let me ask you guys this. This is a hypothetical of the day. USF makes the Memphis offer to the Big 12. Do they take it?
Yeah, I would think.
I think they do.
Yeah.
I think they do. Because we're just institutionally on a much more solid footing. And I think if we had offered, now we would not offer that deal. The whole deal, like, oh, you can kick us out 5 years from now.
No,
we're not.
Insane.
We're too smart for that.
That was insane.
That's nuts, right? So we're not offering that deal. But I think if USF offered $200 million and no revenue share, and like, oh, and you can kick us out later, they'd say yes.
Yeah, I mean the Big 12. Some of the Big 12 spokespersons that were like anonymous even said like, yeah, the reason why we didn't take Memphis and why we haven't made any moves is that we're feeling buyer's remorse from Cincinnati, UCF, a bit of Houston for, you know, non-men's basketball, and a bit of BYU as well. So
they should not feel regret on those four. They should not. But long term, they're going to be fine. It's just that these things come in cycles, and exactly. UCF might be a little different actually. Of the four, I would say they're the weakest of the four. But BYU is very competitive in Olympic sports, and
BYU spending money.
Yeah, and they spend money, and they're good at football. And Cincinnati and Houston, yeah. So
yeah, they spend more money. But yeah, I mean, it's a looking at it though. I will always laugh at how quickly the news kind of cycles through that kind of stuff. It was like I think I posted a tweet that that the Memphis had offered that to the Big 12, and then like 12 minutes later, it was like, yeah, the Big 12 declined it. Like, there's always much more happening behind the scenes than what is let on, but absolutely hilarious timing for all that stuff.
I think it's maybe they learned a lesson about how maybe don't judge these teams in terms of program health on their greatest teams ever that come around once every 100 years. maybe like judge it on a longer base. Like Cincinnati, yeah, you got Cincinnati coming off making the playoff, but that whole team was gone the next year, right? Like everyone was gone. So you didn't get the Cincinnati, right? Same UCF, like 2017, great year. That's when all the interest started up. You didn't get that team. You didn't get their greatest team of all time. You get the teams that are more like the teams they've always had. So, I think that could be a cautionary tale that, okay, let's not look at them as their greatest team of all time. Let's look at kind of the general performance and stuff around the program. But
don't worry, they hired back their Messiah. Everything's fine.
Yeah. Well, we'll see if he's had some. If he went to the Steve Sarkisian School of Coaching, post his exit, maybe if he can follow a similar path to him, then maybe he'll be all right. But
I hope every associate AD and trainer in the building
similar
is ready to get.
from what it seemed like. So
yeah,
hopefully he's figured it out. But
I hope so too.
I hope we get sound bites a la Scott Frost at the American Conference Media Days, kicking it back to the topic at it. I hope we get sound bites that are half as good as Scott Frost's Media Days.
Yeah, I don't know who would deliver them. So I think Dilfer would be the one, because maybe he'll name names this year instead of threatening to name names of people who are tampering. I think he may have realized that nobody cares about tampering, and it's not actually, I don't think, a real thing. Like,
wait, stuck in the past? I'm stunned. Don't stop it. What are you talking about?
So, well, I think he's probably. You got no Biff Poggi.
Yeah, that's
gone.
The sad part.
He would have been good.
We would have absolutely gotten like 10 sound bites out of him.
Golish is probably the.
Yeah,
I'm pulling up the list. Who's kind of the next in line to give a soundbite? I think Golish was probably be pretty high up there.
Keeler, I'm super interested to hear what Keeler said. I know he's a Philly guy, and that's why he went back. But like, if he can't make it work there, I don't think anybody can. I think that was such a great hire for them. But I think he might spit off a couple here. He's certainly
Trailer could be.
Yeah, Trailer for sure. Yeah.
Trailer could have a couple.
How does Scott Abel interview? Because that's what I'm interested in. He seems nonconformist.
I'll be interested. Yeah, I haven't seen much from him in terms of media stuff. Apologies to the Roost, but I haven't. I don't know if they've gotten a chance to interview him or not, but I haven't seen a lot from him. I am interested to hear him, and because I think he will be. I think he's going to be a pretty good hire for them in terms of being non-traditional schematically. But yeah, Golish. So Golish goes first on Friday after Tim Pernetti, friend of the show.
And then we're done. And then we can go drinking. That's the only time.
We're just waiting for Steeg to tell us when the view count gets above 1,000 live, and then Collin's going to streak across the stage behind whoever's with the Bay Area Examiner shirt on.
Wearing only a P6 pin on my nipple.
And a Bay Area Examiner hat. Just
we actually, I don't want to jinx it, and I don't want to, but we have at least one other coach in the league lined up for a podcast interview. So we're going to do some content outside, but I don't want to name names because make it a surprise. It's more fun that way. And hopefully we'll be able to grab a couple other folks as well besides Golish and some USF players. We will do the best we can to fill it with content. We're not going to go all the way up there and just, hit the happy hour. Although that's what Nate would have done. Nate used to hit happy hour for dinner.
We're not going to see the sights in Charlotte, I don't think.
No, we are not. Although I have a barbecue list, and I have a barbecue list that's apparently close to the hotel.
All right, I'm down.
So I got a friend who lives in Charlotte. She sent me a list. So,
all right.
Do we want to talk about why the media poll? Was that where we're going?
Yeah, we can go there. So,
okay.
Media poll. You ready to vote, Collin?
Oh, I didn't vote because you guys both voted. I was like, all right, that's fine. I had it. Hold on.
There is no media. I think the story is there is no media poll.
There is no media poll, right? But our friends at the Roost at Rice just did it anyway. So what the league wants is as much emphasis on Soar the Eagle and as little emphasis on the team playing football as possible, right? This is what we're going with, huh?
What is the possible
four-dimensional chess, baby? Tim Fernetti, four-dimensional chess.
So what is the four-dimensional chess reason for doing that? Is there one? Like they don't want?
I don't know, man.
They
don't want somebody to be embarrassed. I guess they don't want Team 14. The reason that like leagues now invite every basketball team to the tournament if they can afford it is that they just don't want to embarrass the last team, which is, by the way, how USF got to Madison Square Garden the first like 2 or 3 years in the Big East, because we never made it the first couple of years. And they're like, all right, now we're going to invite everybody because we have to. And I think it's kind of the same thing. Somebody's got to be last, and they don't want anybody to be last. And Casey Keeler doesn't want to read that Temple has got 0 for all the last place votes. Is it possible that it's like there's really not a team that's like out far and in front the best, so they're like there's going to be a big jumble. Let's not put the stink on anybody.
No, I think it's the opposite. I think there's multiple reasons. I think the Big 12 kind of setting the precedent with the fumbling of it last year versus
so dumb.
The actual.
That's like such a great.
But it's such a good story
though.
Yes. Exactly. But then the problem then becomes of like
it only helps
the legitimacy behind it and media pull and just protecting brand identity and protecting media identity, blah blah blah. Like
why are we galaxy braining this? People like preseason.
Yeah, no.
People like preseason polls, and I would do players too. I do either a first team or at least like a conference preseason player of the year.
Yeah,
you're looking to generate interest in your league. Like how is having an official whatever a bad thing? I'd have a preseason all conference team, both sides, all 22, and a preseason MVP.
It's stupid.
The only thing I could see, which I still don't agree with. I think you should have a poll. Like it's fun, but could it possibly, if a team, especially with it being somewhat jumbled, if a team everyone in the preseason thinks is going to be terrible wins your conference, do you think people are saying, wow, this team is great, or are they saying, wow, this conference sucks?
I think they're saying, wow, Kenny Dillingham's the best damn coach in the country. I think
last year went from and it's still like the Big 12, nobody knows, toss them all in a hat. This year it's pretty much the same thing, but that's what I don't think I don't think that totally makes sense, but I wonder if that's the reasoning. Like, because I'm sure there was some, Arizona State won this conference. They're not, this conference can't be that good.
I think that's completely silly. Look, Leicester City won the Premier League. Like it happens. You know what I mean? Like this is sports. You know what I mean? And like the unexpected thing happens. I don't think it embarrasses your conference when, Arizona State comes out with the best damn running back in the country who looks like, built like a keg of nails and they just pummel people, you know what I mean? And I don't think anybody saw that coming. I thought it was the best story in college football, and I thought them getting voted last was part of the reason it was the best story in college football. So like, what? This is just stupid. I hate it.
Yeah, I think it's dumb as well. So USF bringing Golish, obviously, and then also Cole Best. And Mr. Rucker is also attending. Anything from was any of that a surprise to you guys?
No. Rucker, look, Rucker's play fell off a little bit. I don't know how hurt he was in the second half of the season, but I was in the stands for that Alabama game, and he was the best player on the field, and it wasn't close. Like, he was unbelievable that night. On the USF side, I should say, he was incredible. So a veteran returner, and I think that kid's, if healthy and, having the system built around him, I think that kid is a real talent. So I like having him there for sure.
Yeah. Are they shielding Byron Brown from?
I was gonna say, that's exactly what they're doing. It's exactly what they're doing, and it's annoying. And we'll ask Golish about it. You know what I mean? We'll ask. That is our job, is to ask Golish about it. And why is your fourth year starting quarterback not at media day? Why do you hate him?
Go
ahead.
Sorry, I was going to say, and this isn't. this is less of a knock on Byram than it is on anything else. I also think for Cole and Rucker, this is more of a tip of the cap to them as well. Obviously, there's
Sure.
23 starters on the team and everything like that. If you were to give me a kind of early glimpse into, hey, this guy might be really, really important this year for USF, and additionally might have a future in professional football. Both of those guys also fit the mold. So, I don't think. I think, yes, the not having Byron Brown there is like a question mark, should be asked, hey, you kind of kept him under wraps this entire offseason, what's going on kind of thing. But also to the roses of Cole Best and Deshaun Rucker, they also very much deserve to be having those media day conversations, getting the chances to do interviews and media focus events, because they both have been great advocates for the university as well. So, yeah,
I think I like the Cole Best addition. Probably a guy that in a lot of places transfers out, right? Stuck behind Mike Lofton, who you remember coming back was like, he played every snap last year. It's like, okay, you're stuck behind a guy, but he kind of supplanted him halfway through the year last year. Ended up starting 10 games, 7 at center, but he also played guard too. So he played multiple positions for you. So I think it's kind of like, you talk about like a good program guy, and in addition to be a good player, but somebody that stuck it out, didn't transfer, even though it looked like it was going to be tough for him to find playing time at center, stuck with it. Now he's your starting center. So I think that's a cool story. And each program's different. Sometimes some guys will just want to bring the biggest name. Some guys want to reward guys for off-season work, or there's different reasons they bring these people to these things. But I think Cole Best I think it's a cool addition. And then Deshaun Rucker's like you said, Collin, he had a really good start of the year last year, I thought, and he should be a pretty good player for them. And I think he's a guy, he transferred from Tennessee, so I'm sure Golish had a prior relationship with him as well. So so there you
go. The only two big glaring things that I think is, we obviously besides USF's, is John Sumrall, no offensive players. It's Sam Howard, their linebacker, and Chandre Hurst, their defensive lineman. Seems a little strange. And I have to address the elephant in the room. Jalen Kitna.
Can't go. You can't bring him. You can't.
He might.
You can't bring him.
Well, you're going to have to answer some questions, I'm assuming.
Oh, yeah. As he should.
Which, I think maybe that could be the most. If he's, if it's not like, if he should be playing right now, maybe he would like to answer some questions. I don't know, because he's got an unbelievable stink on him.
If USF's not bringing forever. If USF's not bringing Byram, how is UAB bringing Jalen Kitna? It's just, one of those two is media malpractice. I'm just not sure which. I am still stunned. And now, I guess, is Retzlaff coming now too for Tulane? Are they going to bring him, or are they?
No.
Oh, that's right. He's officially not even allowed to be on the roster yet. So I don't think they even can bring him. So
he's walking on, right?
Yeah, he's technically a walk-on, and technically he can't even practice. He can't even get in the facility until some date down the road. So I guess but that would be another guy that you would definitely want to talk to and ask some questions of.
Yeah.
Although
UTSA is bringing two guys named Owen McCown and Owen Pee-wee. Yeah, the Kitna thing is bizarre, right? It's just an odd.
Is he worth?
I thought he was because he was at Florida before when all the when all the stuff came out.
Right.
I thought he was a serviceable player, but nothing crazy. But I don't know. That's I didn't see anything. There's not a lot of clarity on that situation in terms of getting cleared up. I didn't feel like so.
I think Dilfer has said that his relationship with his father was certainly a factor, and that the university investigated and they did all this stuff. And yeah, man, that's cool. But if you're gonna
You've got to
stick
present
a
some more.
bullseye on your program. Why are you going to do it for a kid? And I'm going to pull up his stats here. I don't think they're that great. I mean, I watched him and I was like, this kid's not that great as a football player. And honestly, like in his case, his talent as a football player is always going to be secondary, as it should be, because of what he has been. I don't want to misrepresent the disposition of his case, but what was he last year? 62%, 17 and 11, 2,200 yards in 8 games. I mean, okay.
They got, I think they got more out of Zeno. Now he kind of took over halfway through the year, but
right.
Zeno was their quarterback the year before and did just as well. They could probably find somebody. There's not a bunch of wins above replacement there, I don't think, and use those terms. But I don't know.
Whereas with Retzlaff, I think there is some wins above replacement. I mean, I don't think he's like an all-world NFL first-round pick or anything, but I think he's,
Will he be able to comment on that?
Yes.
Summerall, will he be able to comment?
He has had a final adjudication for both the university and from the process.
Will Summerall be able to comment on Retzlaff?
Yes.
Can you comment on somebody that's not on the roster?
Oh. Did he sign anything? Did he sign
No, he's going to be a walk-on.
Did he sign a letter of admission?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I just all I've seen is that he's going to be a walk-on.
Sorry, I said a letter. That's not it. If you sign, he can't sign a grant and aid, which is the other way that you can get around it. Is you can just instead of signing an NIL or NLI, you could sign a grant and aid. But
did he sign a lease in New Orleans yet?
Yeah,
that's one.
Does he have a mug at the boot? He's old enough.
You can use that for utility bills down there.
Yeah. No, I don't know. That's interesting. We'll find out. I guess we'll find. And if I'm delayed, like, oh no, we can't talk about a player that's not on the roster.
People that aren't. Yeah.
On a roster. Yeah, that's pretty smart if you can pull it off.
I wouldn't be shocked if that's the response you hear on that one. So, all right. So
who? Jake what?
I don't have anybody by that. I don't have anybody by that name on my roster. Who are you referring to?
They're already selling Julane shirts, JEWLANE, and I like that was always like I don't know if our fans are familiar, but Tulane.
Yeah, I've learned
a very large Jewish population. A friend of mine, his son is
I think.
Yeah, a friend of mine, his son is a walk-on on the basketball team at Tulane, and he is a member of the tribe. They have a lot of tribe members there. It has always been a thing. So I think going from BYU to Tulane, I think can
30 to 40% possibly of the Jewish.
I don't know if it's that high. I've never seen the number. I've never seen a number, but it is a lot of Tulane grads are members of the tribe for sure.
41.7% undergrad.
That's crazy. What window is that?
All right. So, anything else on Media Day before we kind of move on to? I don't know. There's not much going on. There's some. Have there been schedule releases or schedule? I know we have sickos piecing schedules together off of other people's schedules, but have we actually we've had some schedule releases in other sports?
We did. Thank God, because this is all I care about. We have had women's soccer release their schedule. We have had their fall schedule. We've had men's soccer release their fall schedule. And of course, they're also announcing some commits and transfers and yada, yada, yadas and everything like that. And then we've also strangely gotten the golf schedule for this upcoming spring. But volleyball, who is supposed to start in a month, doesn't have a schedule yet. We've been able to
Collin making moves. I know I haven't talked to Jolene in a while, long before they went to Brazil. But I know that they were looking at one tournament that was going to be like a very high level tournament. So I don't know if that's still in the cards or not. As far as golf, let me check.
Yeah. Well, to finish out volleyball real quick, we've been able to piecemeal what we believe is their full schedule at this point.
Ooh, okay.
Barring some changes and adjustments and everything like that. It is in the Ponderosa section of our Discord. Friend of the blog and super user Chris Hadley was able to piecemeal it all together. We believe that their first game is going to be August 29th against Purdue. That will be in Tennessee. It's part of a weird little tournament thing that's going on there. They will also be playing Tennessee that day. So, August 29th is the start date. Could be earlier, could be later, or could be earlier, I should say. We've got various things like the South Florida Showdown have been scheduled. The Minnesota Diet Coke Classic has been scheduled. The Creighton Classic has been scheduled. And then we have the full AAC schedule already done, thanks to all of the other schools announcing theirs, sans Memphis. So we're all just kind of waiting for what is the final cog that they're waiting on to announce.
Maybe it's that the American Conference tournament is going to be hosted at the University of South Florida alma mater Hail today. Is that it?
Could be
potentially.
It very well.
They might be working out final details on how that's going to work. So hang on. I'll keep talking. I'll figure it out.
But overall, I mean, we won't go into the details about the schedules or anything like that. All three teams, men's soccer, women's soccer, and volleyball, have done an excellent job of scheduling this. They have some really high-end talent. Women's soccer, for instance, is playing the national runner-up Wake Forest. Volleyball is playing the, I believe they got to the Final Four, Creighton, along with Kansas and some high-end teams. Strangely enough, USF is playing reigning national champion Vermont in an exhibition game. But again, they've kind of sprinkled in, they've done the classic thing that we see in Olympic sports, which is you schedule some really tough opponents, try to get those quad one wins that we can, really look back to and say, okay, yeah, this team's really got it. But they have also sprinkled in some lesser opponents as well to give yourself a little tune up, maybe use it to make adjustments. Chris Brown and Denise were famous for doing what they love to do, which is schedule an out-of-conference, really weak opponent right after you started conference play to use that for any adjustments, changes, or anything that you need to make on the fly. Overall, we'll probably go into a deeper dive of what we expect out of these programs outside of football going forward. The general consensus that we're hearing around these teams is volleyball should be still competing for a trophy this year. Soccer will be as well. Big question mark on men's soccer, but that's just because college soccer for men is probably the most volatile sport out there right now. I mean, there is so much parity. Again, Vermont won the national championship last year. They've been a pretty all right power the last couple of years, but anyone can win in men's soccer for any particular reason, and I think that's the beauty of it. So, Collin, you have something important to say, though.
No, just that men's volleyball, most volatile sport, men's volleyball was like a word. I looked, and there is also. I think they're finally going to pull the trigger. I don't know if it's going to happen next season or the year after, but I think they're going to finally pull the trigger on fall spring soccer. They've been talking about it forever, make it a year-round sport. And I think, but I don't know if both men's and women's would do it or not, but I think it would just benefit the athletes. It would benefit the clubs. I think especially now that kids are on scholarship and getting paid, we're not acting like this is amateurism anymore. Because of that, I think it probably makes sense to go ahead and just go year round. As long as you keep the practice limits in and keep those practice. The one thing I'm worried about is I think teams are going to start really abusing practice limits because they're going to be like, well, he's getting paid. He should probably, if we want an extra day of practice, you know what I mean? And that can't happen like that. That's why we need a union, not really what we got right now. But I think going to year round for soccer, just the players want it too. That's the thing. It's like the players truly want it.
Do you think we'll get sport-specific unions inside college, or it'll be college athlete union?
That's a really good question. I don't know.
I think it'll be kind of You know how like unions will like union together kind of thing. You know how like they have like the electrical and
They all stand together.
construction.
So like if
They
one
all
goes
kind
on
of stand
strike,
together.
everybody goes on strike. Yeah.
Yeah, that
Maybe.
kind of
Maybe
thing.
something like that. Yeah, maybe.
It does remind me of something.
Yeah, I would think they would have separate, or at least I do have a question that's totally it's a little bit off base here, but we're talking kind of more non-revenue ish type sports. Colin, how would you split up the house settlement money?
I think about where it is.
If I gave you $20 million, how would you split it up amongst sports?
Am I the University of South Florida or am I generic university?
I'm the University of South Florida. What do you think is it? I guess the question is this could be for both of you. Is it worthwhile to be the biggest spender in a sport that's kind of fringe? You could be number one in, or is it better to try to concentrate spending in more popular, higher revenue generating sports?
With apologies to our tennis teams, like they're not going to have a lot of money in my theoretical world. So right now the theoretical split is 75, 15, 5 and 5, 75 football, 15 men's hoop, 5 women's hoop, 5 everybody else. And I think for USF, I'd probably give a little more to women's hoop because it actually comes back to you. And I would probably, I mean, like I'd pick 1 or 2 sports, and honestly, like this hurts my heart because you guys know I love volleyball, but like USF should probably lean into baseball as their Olympic sport, their 5% other sport.
Mm-hmm.
I think that baseball should probably be the one that catches the overwhelming majority. And until we see what and then coming out of football, are we assuming that Memphis and Tulane are just going to go full bore 16 million, 17 million on football? Because in that case, I would kind of want.
Yeah, I think that's the question.
Going to want that.
Is how much can you? I guess it's kind of. Will you be able to keep up with the years that you play, and then if you can't, is the money better off going somewhere else? As much as I love football, if I can only spend as much as somebody else, their difference is going to happen much in a quarter as much, maybe not a huge difference. Whereas maybe I can take that money somewhere else and win national championship. So
this is why Big East basketball is going to print. Don't have to worry about it.
Well, that's what interesting. Memphis, like just speaking of Memphis, their thoughts of them trying to pitch their basketball to the Big East.
Yeah. Well, they ain't keeping up with that league. If they're still fielding the football team, they are not keeping up with Big East basketball. That is just not going to happen. Like I don't know what kind of like NIL deal you could work out with FedEx money to like equalize. And here's the thing for men's basketball at USF, if I'm trying to move money around, I'm moving it out of men's basketball, and I am moving it towards. We're not taking money away from the kids. We're still going to spend $3 million a year on men's basketball, but maybe that money is more individual contracts signed with players from
NIL. Yeah,
much more NIL. That's because you've got a much smaller roster that you can sort of manipulate, things around. So I would say men's basketball, maybe a little bit of women's basketball too. It's going to be hard to get a women's golfer to sign an NIL deal to make up for the 5% that we probably aren't going to spend a lot on women's golf with.
Steeg, where would you put all your money? Sailing?
Probably a good bit in sailing. This is where I get lost, candidly, because the money, like I know the money exists, but much like my credit card, I just swipe and then just pay it off later. So it doesn't really affect it too much. I do think there is some merit to listen. USF is never going to compete for a national championship. And so to be the biggest spender in the group of 8 is a fruitless attempt to put money into something that you're you will get, maybe you'll get championship trophies out of conference wise or something like that. Maybe you'll get a good performance a la Boise State against Penn State for a little bit there, but it ultimately is going to end up being a fruitless attempt at winning a national championship. And similarly to men's basketball as well.
Does it change your opinion if you say, all right, if you win 70% of your football games the next 4 years, you're in the ACC? Like, does then it become a cost benefit? We're like, okay, I'm going to spend more, but I'll end up making it back on the back end, or
yeah, it does, but it also does, like this is where I'm cynical, by the way. So Collin is going to like just probably like shoot me with a gun at this point, but like, to me, I would rather keep up in the market rate of my own conference at that point than to try to, for lack of a better term, try to big dick them. Like, I would almost rather be like, hey, let's see if we can just put together like a really, really, really good basketball roster and make like an Elite Eight. Because then there's at least a little bit more of an incentive financially there. Like, yeah, you get, the college football playoff incentive in there as well. And there's always incentive to making the postseason in that regard. But like, to me, sometimes I have this, two wolves inside of me. One of them is like, yeah, I want USF to be the best possible team, they could ever field and everything like that. And the other side of it is like, what are we doing? Like, I watch Tennessee football, like every once in a while, I'm like, yeah, we couldn't even come close to fielding a team that would,
and they got absolutely annihilated by Ohio State.
Yes. And that's ultimately that's where I'm kind of getting to, is like
Texas spent like $50 million. You see Texas A&M spent $50 million on NIL.
Yeah, I mean it's all we're all burning money. Like, let's be honest.
8-4.
This is all just money being burned.
They're not going 8-4 this year. Texas A&M's not going 8-4. Elko's a really good coach. They're not going 8-4.
Yeah, they're going 4-8. No,
they might. They might go 8.
So I wrote about this after I went to. Speaking of Tennessee, after I watched USF lose in the first round of the NCAA tournament to Tennessee in Columbus this year. And I wrote about this, and it was speaking of McKinsey consultant, I used my McKinsey consultant in that article, I believe, too, which was that if you are a McKinsey consultant, you would tell the Bulls, spend every cent on football, because that's your only path out. None of the other sports matter. And that breaks my heart, but let's just deal with brass tacks. I will still care way more about volleyball than anybody else. And it's still a sport that if you want personally, volleyball national championship, football national championship, give me the volleyball national championship. 100 times out of 100. I am one human. You know what I mean? So what I want does not matter. But the way out of this league is football. Play good football. Be good at football. So if that is the case, spend your money on football, get out of this league. And then once you get out of the league, then maybe pick a sport or two to lean into a little bit hard. And for USF, that should be women's basketball, baseball, because of the natural assets of the community. And then everybody else, I know that we can build a top 15 volleyball program here. I 100% know that. Are we gonna have the resources? If we put the resources into it, we could be a Sweet 16 team. 100%. We have the facility. We have the connections. We can recruit foreign players. You got to get foreign players nowadays. That you can win with American kids, but USF wouldn't. We would win with foreign kids. We're just not going to commit those kind of resources. It's just not going to happen. So I think you spend as much on. I hate that. That is the cold, hard analytics of it. That's the move to put your eggs in the basket and hope that you kind of hope you get your money back on the back end when you get to a bigger conference and payouts increase and all that kind of stuff, right? Right. Yeah, for sure.
So, all right, I think that's it for this week's episode of Pod by the BAE. Am I missing anything, Steeg? Anything else you wanted to talk about? I could go over Texas A&M schedule real quick.
Yeah. Do we want to talk about how we're going to run things in the fall going forward?
No,
Do we even know?
Yeah, no.
Well, okay. Yeah, that's true. We don't know yet either.
I had Nate dropping off a tape recorder in my parking garage last night. He didn't know what the hell he's doing. So like,
Let's well, we can do this. Bryce Archie, no longer on the USF football roster. We'll talk more about that and the implications of it in the Ponderosa.
oh, we doing that next?
Join.
Yeah, we're doing that next.
Patreon.com/Bear Examiner. $10 a month gets you into the Ponderosa section of the Discord and the extra podcasts that we put out and extra content. So football season is when we really gear up a lot of extra content. So it'll be definitely worth the investment on patreon.com/Bear Examiner. So check it out there. Join us. And you can get this extra podcast we're about to record. In the meantime, go Bulls.
Good balls.